go. All right, the problem that I had a moment ago came back. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. We do the show every day. Fat middle-aged white man just ranting about all the things that he doesn't understand anymore in this world because shit's different now. 4 years and counting. That's right, every day. 2 o'clock-ish lately, right? Used to be the noon show. What are we going to talk about here today? We're going to get into the Epstein stuff, the latest Epstein stuff. Oh, my God. This is the stuff that concerns me. And I must note, it didn't really concern me all that much until recently. It's getting crazier. It's getting weirder. You've got my interest. Suddenly, I am dialed in. So we had an earthquake last night. We had an earthquake in Russia. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Bunch of Eskimos got their igloos leveled. I don't, But then apparently there was a tsunami. The T is silent. You look like an asshole. You call it a tsunami, you got to call it a tsunami. So then there was a tsunami, and boy, I got all ginned up by the media. Yeah, I fell prey to it. I'm not averse. I went completely. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, so we'll talk about the tsunami. I want to get into the dildo being thrown on the court at the WNBA game. Tell you what, kids, you do that every day. I'll watch. That was funny. Did you see that? WNBA game. I don't know any of these teams. These teams have weird names. Like, why can't you just be like the Atlanta Hens? There you go, because the male team is the Atlanta Hawks. So just be the Atlanta Hens or something, right? Nope, can't do that, because that's gender. That's a gendering issue. Well, the fucking WNBA is a gendering issue. It's a woman's league. Be the Hens. Be the Hens. Anyway, they got weird names, and I didn't know. Last night, apparently, during the Atlanta Golden State matchup, which for some reason they call, I don't know, we'll get into the names. The names are weird. I'm watching. They got a cool black court. Did you see that? I mean, it looked great. I'll tell you, the only reason I watched a chunk of WNBA game last night was because somebody threw a dildo on the floor. And what did I notice? Here's what I noticed. First of all, pretty big crowd. I didn't think that many people were showing up for WNBA games. That was a pretty big crowd. That dildo came from the upper levels. Somebody paid 300 level seat prices, which is nothing. Those are the dirtbag seats. Those are your loser, your divorced dad who can't hold a job. He's taking you to a Mavs game. You're up there in the 400 section, and you know what? It's probably the best night of your life. That dildo came from like the cheap seats is what I'm saying, son. So I'm watching the game last night, and I noticed a lot of cool things, and we'll get into that. The coolest thing, of course, the dildo flying onto the court. So we'll break that down, video and all that stuff. Ozzy Osbourne had his funeral. We're going to talk about that. It was very cool funeral. Can I also say Ozzy was not cool? People look, Ozzy's the coolest. I don't know. I think I define cool differently. He's a badass. Like Ozzy's an icon and all that, but Ozzy's vibe was never cool. Ozzy was the opposite of cool. Ozzy's vibe was, oh shit, he's gonna snort ants. That's not cool. That's like the fucking crazy guy who gets let into the cool guy group because he does crazy stuff. But his funeral was definitely fucking cool. Ozzy's Osbourne funeral was very cool. What else do we have to talk about? Tsunami, Epstein, dildos flying through the air. Ozzy. We're going to watch a video. We got a video. We're going to laugh at a teenage kid who did something stupid. Hey, we've all been there. Teenage kid did something stupid. We'll break that video down. Okay. Say hi to our chat room. Who do we have here in the chat room? How is it that I signed on? Surprisingly, I had to check something, so I had to go live on a stream for a couple of minutes, a few minutes back. Like I think I went at 1:30 as opposed to our normal 2 p.m. start time. I wanted to check something. And I had a bigger audience for that test than I do right now. Let's go. Jeez Louise. What else? Any small talk? Got nothing. Had a big day of meetings. Had people through here all day long. Some fun people. Got some good things going on here at the E-Gallery. You just stay tuned. Shock House Dallas. Also stay tuned. Oh, by the way, no Shock House show tonight. I cleared it with CC and Keith. There's no Shock House tonight. We're going to do it tomorrow. I had too much stuff going on here at the Kelly Moore Studios today for me to be able to be here back at 6 o'clock. All right, let's get started. Hi, Bet. Let's say hi to the chat rooms. There's CC. Hi, CC. Hi, Byron. Hi, Barney. Hi, Taronda. Who else do we have? I don't know. All right, so short room today. That's okay. I don't fucking care. Wheels are off, baby. Let's go. Let's do talk radio for normal people, because that's what this show is. Talk radio for normal people. All right, first thing I want to get into here is let's talk tsunami. So last night, I'm out there at trivia. Oh, my God. Another great night of trivia at the back nine. Guess who won again? James Parker. He's unbeatable. He's unbeatable. You're never going to be able to beat James Parker. Although Bill Folk came damn close. Bill Folk came real close. You know what it is? April hasn't been there in a couple of weeks. Emily's Degenerates, which is a bar team that used to dominate, they've been having some bad weeks. We got new people. We got new people showing up. We got new teams forming. We had two teams that showed up for the second week in a row since we came back. Every Tuesday night, we do trivia. It's my trivia. I'm not pulling cards from a box, dude. I'm not going, online and saying, I need trivia. No, I'm writing these trivia questions. These comes from my fucked up head, okay? So it's fun trivia. We call it trash trivia. It's every Tuesday night at the back nine in Addison, 4060 Beltline Road. Come on out, throw down, play some trivia. What else are we going to do? James Parker won. He won. He came from behind and won. He was leading in the first round. Never mind. Did not come from behind. James Parker, of course, of WBAP. He was over here at the studio as well. We had meetings with people here, and James was a key instrument in what we're going to be doing moving forward. So he stopped by. Right now, he's on the air. Prime competitor. He signed on 3 minutes ago over there at BAP 93.3. Don't listen to that shit. Stay here with me. I mean, he's great. But he's not as good as me because I'm saying it. And I'm here, and I need you people here. So that's what we're going with. Other than that, James Parker's great. 93.3. I need a fucking drink. Yeah, it's still hot in here, you guys. It's still really hot. All right, tsunami. So I'm out there. I'm at trivia last night. And, we space out the rounds. So I'm glancing at the laptop because I got my whole trivia. I got my whole king of trivia kind of podium set up where I'm in the DJ booth, and so I just, during a break, I start to look at something, and all of a sudden I start seeing earthquake. Everybody's talking about earthquake. People in Southern California on social media, they always let you know when something happened there, right? Whether it's, an actual earthquake or, I don't know, whatever it is, you always know. But this wasn't a California one. This was Russia. So I didn't really care, Sorry to say, an 8.8 earthquake, in a part of the world that no right-thinking human should ever go. What's the worst that can happen? Like, that's what I thought. I'm like, 8.8. Nobody lives there. It's like in Kamchatka, Russia or something. It's like, and it's the part of Russia that may as well be China. You know that part of Russia where everything starts to get real squirrely with Russian people, where like, you don't look Russian anymore, you look Chinese. Anyway, it's that part of Russia. It's where you get the Eskimos from. The Eskimo people. That's why they look like that. They're like part, I don't know what Eskimos are. Anyway, let's move on. It didn't happen in Moscow, okay? It happened like a billion miles away from Moscow in a part of Russia that they don't even care about, so why should I care about it? It's interrupting my flow of trivia. But I did dial into it. Focused, I'm paying attention to it, and then I start seeing tsunami, silent T. I'm like, oh my God, okay, a tsunami. So this shit happened in Russia. Like I said, the ass crack of the globe. I don't, nobody care. Who is the tsunami going to affect? And I start thinking, I'm like, all right, Japan, maybe, right? Sort of close. Then I start seeing these reports. Hawaii, okay. It's a little bit far. That's a little bit outside our reach. So, I mean, look, I know Hawaii's a state, but I don't consider it America, if you know what I mean. It's not America. So I start seeing Hawaii. Then they start, like, ginning us up. Oh, let's get people scared. They start ginning us up with it's gonna crush Spokane, Washington. I'm like, I don't care. Spokane, I don't care. Like, it's gonna crush the California Oregon border. I'm like, yeah, that's a bunch of bears and pot growers up there. I'm not worried. Then they start moving down the coast of California. I'm like, holy shit, San Francisco Bay? San Francisco Bay is going to get hit by a tsunami? Here we go, people. Let's dial in. Let's brew a pot of coffee. We're going to stay up late tonight. We're going to watch San Francisco and then Los Angeles. And then they had times from Malibu. So I'm stoked. The first indication of what this tsunami was going to happen in Hawaii. Now, I suppose we had some indication when the tsunami passed over the Midway Atoll. Midway? You ever watch World War II shit with your grandpa? Oh, yeah, he probably made you watch something about Midway. So it passed over like Midway, and then it was heading towards Hawaii. And here's what I got at my house, right? I got all these different screens up. I'm looking at webcams from different beaches in Hawaii. I got like 4 of them open. I'm covering all the Hawaiian Islands. And I'm looking at this thing for hours, and I'm seeing nothing. Like nothing. Doing these press conferences. By the way, I was watching, here's what I had on the big screen, on the YouTube, on the big screen. I was watching local Hawaiian news, right? Like, think about your local news team. If you're here in Dallas, we got some pretty polished professionals. Dallas is a major market. You're still trying to make your way to Fox News or CNN or whatever. You might spend a little time in a market like Dallas. So these people are pros. That's what we're used to. I'm watching out there in Hawaii. These are all a bunch of washouts from real stations who are like, like they're like one guy, they had a reporter. Like, think about this. The last time you saw a reporter on the scene in Dallas or wherever you are, Chicago, wherever. When was the last time you saw a reporter that was like 65 and not at all fuckable? Well, I saw that last night. They had some old guy. And he's like, I'm out here in Kailua Bay. And I'm like, dude, weren't you the weekend news anchor for WLS in Chicago in the 80s? And now you're doing like reporting from tsunami zones in Hawaii. Well, I mean, that's pretty good though, right? I mean, if you want to keep working, right? And Hawaii, I guess you get a good job in Hawaii. Anyway, they also had these like hot news chicks, and they were like hot. Like, one of them was really hot, but I'm like, yeah, this is the market you deserve to be in, because she wasn't real articulate and she like mispronounced a couple of words. So I'm like, all right, buckle up. We're watching amateur news coverage from a tsunami encroaching on Hawaii. How much fun is this going to be? Well, it wasn't. It sucked. I was up till 3:00 in the fucking morning, and they kept moving the goalposts on me. They're like, oh, well, this is just the first wave. There's going to be 3 waves. And historically speaking, the third wave is always, so I'm like, how fucking long is this third wave going to be? And they're like, we expect it in 3 hours. I'm like, that's a slow fucking wave. How much damage can that thing do? That is a slow fucking wave. I know I'm saying the F word a lot. I'm jazzed up. I did a lot of stuff today. I'm sorry. I'll dial it back. And this show ain't for kids anyway. All right. I hate you kids with your rage bait and your bullshit. I mean, I like mine. I got a 16-year-old. I like mine. But the rest of them, they all kind of suck. So no kids allowed. Look at this. We got Kojak in the chat room. My guy Kojak. What's he saying? What's Kojak saying? Kojak saying, we've had 2 tsunami threats since moving to Puerto Rico. Yeah. I mean, can we be honest about tsunamis? Okay. There's only been one. There's only been one that we Westerners, know about. And even that one happened like, in Indonesia or Malaysia. I don't know. I make no distinction. Between those parts of the world. Indonesia, Malaysia, I don't know. They build a wall around that entire part of the world, if you ask me. But that's pedophile country. That's all Indonesia. Where did that happen? Do you guys remember that? Was it Sri Lanka? Where Where did that big anyway, it's the one tsunami that we know about, and we didn't even care about tsunamis until that thing happened. And now for the last 20 years, we're like, that could happen here. So last night was, the rubber hitting the road, and here we go, an American tsunami, and it was nothing. It was nothing. At least I hope. I haven't checked the headlines in a couple of hours. I hope there's not like now massive flooding in Honolulu Bay or some bullshit, but I was thinking last night, though, you remember like last year when Hawaii burned, when Hawaii caught on fire? I'm like, wouldn't that have been great if there was a God? And I'm not sure there is. In fact, I'm leaning that there's not. You would think that like God would be like, well, maybe we can time the tsunami with the out of control brush fires. Maybe that would be good, God. But no, God's constantly testing us, or at least your God is. I don't know. So I stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. There was absolutely nothing that came of it. I was so angry. I went to sleep mad. I slept mad. I had mad dreams. I fought people in my dreams. That was it. Tsunami talk. All right, now let's move on to what everybody wants to talk about. That is, of course, Epstein. It's getting weirder, you guys. Hold on. Oh, should I take my hat off? Because, we're getting into the hot and bothered section of the show. You can be a bald fat man without showing you're bald. All right. It's hot. I got no air conditioning in here. I just looked at the thing. It's 87 degrees in here. We'll get the air conditioning fixed. Don't worry about it. We'll get the air conditioning fixed. Okay. Let's see, what else do we got? Is this about trivia? Barney, are you talking about trivia? So me and Jimmy P, is that James Parker? Or is there somebody else that I'm missing? Because, I'm not that smart anymore. You and Jimmy P basically share a brain. It's not really fair. I don't play, dude. I'm not playing trivia. Pay attention, Barney. I'm hosting it. I'm the retired king of trivia here in DFW. I don't lay down with peasants. I may come out of retirement if somebody in my weekly trivia tournament at the back nine emerges as like a consistent threat, a one-on-one threat, then maybe we go one-on-one. We let AI come up with the questions and we go one-on-one. But we're not there yet, Barney. So Parker's doing this all on his own. Parker and Bill, that's the matchup. James Parker of WBAP and Bill Falk, one of our regulars, one of our good friends, one of my best friends now. Bill Falk is one of my best friends. I talk to Bill Falk like a human being more than I talk to anybody else. And that's because he's there every Tuesday night and we hang out. Why aren't you there hanging out with us? Fuck it. Me and Bill don't want you in our little group. But yeah, Parker and Falk, they go at it. It's pretty good. Parker, Falk, and April used to go at it. But April, we're going to welcome April back with a big warm embrace whenever she's ready. What up, Goat? The Goat's in the chat room. He's like, what up, Pugs? I'm like, what up, Goat? All right, so the Epstein stuff. Let's get into that, right? All right, so I've never been one of these QAnon guys, super obsessed with all of this, stuff. As a matter of fact, I, roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and move on and say, okay, stupid, get out of my way. Whenever anybody brings up something crazy and weird, right? So the Epstein thing wasn't a huge obsession of mine. He's a pedophile. What? You don't think there's a whole bunch of super wealthy 1% son of a bitches who are up there fucking anything that their heart desires whenever they want it? And it's been that way since kings ruled the land. Men of a certain entitlement, men of a certain perceived success or accomplishment they are not held down by these rules that govern the rest of us middle-class working Joe peasants. So I always assumed there was some kind of weird pedophile thing going on, and I wasn't obsessed by it, and I wasn't shocked when Epstein got arrested. And we started to see, he's this big New York City financier, and he's got this island where he's having sex with. I'm like, yeah, that goes on. All right. He's dead. Good. She's in jail. whatever. Yeah, Charles is the king, and Andrew has been exiled, and what's her name? The chick, the blonde girl. What's her name? I need to think of her name. It's a weird name. That's why I can't remember it. The blonde girl who sued Prince Andrew and got all that money, and she moved to Australia. Started a big, got all this money from the royal family and started a big victims advocacy group. And she was a big spokesperson for it. Anyway, you know her name. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, where was I? The Epstein stuff. Okay, so I thought it was basically put to bed, right? Epstein's dead. Ghislaine is there in 20 years. She'll get out when she's 80 or something, so fuck her. But then, an entire wing of our political options in this country started being hey, this is not finished. We need the list. And I'm like, oh, there's a list. And they're like, yeah, there's a list. And I'm like, okay, well, I would be interested in finding out who's on the list. So I was engaged to that level. I'd definitely be in. Is she going to talk? Let's let her talk. Is Ghislaine going to talk? So then this whole thing erupts back up, a couple of weeks ago, because the people who got our votes by saying they're going to expose the names of all of the people involved in this horrific behavior, we're gonna get these names. So a couple months go by in the administration, nothing. A couple more months, they invite all of these, jelly heads into the White House. They give them binders, and then they do the photo op, and they're like, look, we got the info. Well, that was bullshit. That was a work job. When they did that is when I started to go, something doesn't smell right here. This isn't right. And then, of course, we got the couple of weeks, 10 days, we'll release the rest of it. And that never happened. So then the people start stirring again. And they're like, hey, what happened with, all the jellyheads you gave the information to? I thought you were going to give them more information. And then, I follow them on Twitter and I was going to get no, none of that came. And they started stirring again. And then the pressure started getting on Bongino and Patel and Bondi and all of that. And they're realizing now, they're like, we created a fucking monster by ginning up this story. These people now want this information. And me personally, speaking now, where I sit, they say there's no information, there never was. And I'm like, is that maybe true? Is that maybe true? That was, because look, they were ginning up stupid people for votes. That's, and if you're like, well, I want more names, whatever, you may have been victimized by this little shell game that these people played, telling us that, they're the only people that are going to enlighten us about this incredibly horrific situation going on with Jeffrey Epstein and all of his contacts. But then nothing. And then Pam Biondi comes out and said, nothing to see here. Move along, folks. And then the president's like, I can't believe you're still asking about this. And I'm sitting at home going, you ran on this shit, bro. You ran on this shit. Don't act like we're crazy. I mean, look, I remember when you ran the first time and all the libs introduced gaslighting into the whole fucking lexicon. And then we're all like looking up the definition of gaslighting. We're like, oh, okay, gaslighting. Well, here we are all these years later. You're fucking gaslighting us. When you look into the camera and you say, I can't believe people are still interested in this. Well, I know damn well that you can believe people are still interested in this. And you're just saying that, hoping that we get. So, all right. So a whole bunch of other things. That didn't go over well. And, everybody's getting mad. And everybody's like, what's he hiding? And in the beginning, I was like, look, you remember what I said? I said, look, just because dude's on a plane, you don't know how rich people roll. Rich people ride on each other's planes all the time. And Jeffrey Epstein was Jeffrey Epstein was a couple of things, all right? We pretty much think of the pedophilia and all that stuff as being his sole defining characteristic, but I don't know that that's necessarily true. He might have just been a hobbyist. Now, is a hobbyist pedophile any worse than a professional pedophile? No, because they're all pedophiles at the end of the day. But you know what I'm saying? He was doing other things. You don't get to be a billionaire just by, raping children on an island off Bermuda or wherever the fuck it is. He was doing other things. And in the process of doing these other things, a billionaire meets a lot of people. And one of the things that billionaires like to do is they like to offer their plane to other billionaires who are, hey, I wasn't going to go back to the coast until Monday, but if you're leaving tomorrow, can I jump on your plane? That's how. So when they said Trump's on the plane, I was like, oh, fuck that. Everybody's on the plane. Probably A-Rod, Jeter, people like that. Billionaires with their own planes. They like to invite other impressive people on their planes so that they can then go tell their folks, hey, I had A-Rod on my plane. And by the way, I don't even know that A-Rod was on the plane. I'm just throwing that out as an example of like, you know. But then he just handled it all so badly. It's just like he didn't do a great job of, you know, just putting this out. Or I'm reminded of this movie. I think it was a movie about Bruce Jenner's childhood, or maybe it was about Michael Landon's child. You guys remember Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie, and that? Michael Landon, I think, was it's coming back now. So there was a movie that was made in the 1970s when grown-up Michael Landon was a big TV star. And the movie was about Michael Landon's life growing up. And he was a bedwetter, apparently. And his mom used to embarrass Michael Landon. And this was a scene depicted in this movie about Michael Landon's life that I watched when I was like 8 years old on ABC. It's Sunday at 8, you know, when we used to watch movies. There's a scene where he's riding home in the school bus, and the school bus pulls out in front of his house, young Michael Landon, and his mom has taken all of his pea-stained bed sheets and laying them out the window. Anyway, long story short, he handled that. Young Michael Landon handled that very poorly. And I've always been struck by his denial of peeing the bed, made it all worse. And that is exactly what is going on with Trump. Trump is making it fucking worse. All right, so we'll get into why it's being made worse every single day. And I think he thinks he's making it better, but he ain't. And I know what this is the product of. It's the product of being Donald Trump. Nobody has given Donald Trump shit face to face. And that's important, face to face. I mean, in the room, nobody's given him shit to his face in probably 60 years. He's always been the boss. Everyone around him has always been a supplicant. He can say whatever he wants, right? Nobody goes, you probably shouldn't say that, dude. You know, because they get fired. You're fired. You're right, whatever. So he's very much like Elvis or one of these other people who just think everything is okay. And that's what we got. So we got this guy who just says what he wants whenever he wants. And because nobody ever pushes back on him, he hasn't really learned what flies with regular people. Also, he doesn't know any regular people. He doesn't. I always say that Trump's kryptonite is a smart black woman. That is an educated, smart, angry, articulate black woman. That's his kryptonite, because I don't believe he's ever been around black women who didn't work for him, right? You know, he's never ridden a New York City bus. He's never seen how black ladies act on a bus. Oh, they're scary. Hey, man, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. You get on a fucking CTA bus and you see like 4 black girls sitting in the back row, you stay as close to the driver as possible. I'm not saying they're criminals or anything, but they're going to make fun of you. Hey, white man. Hey, white man. Oh, it's not fun. It's not fun. I got the shit kicked out of me by a black girl in 8th grade. That's right. Her name was Vanessa. She kicked the fucking shit out of me, man. She was bigger than me. She was meaner. Ugh. Anyway, in my book, Boarding School Stories. Yeah, got my ass kicked at boarding school. Thank God. Thank God none of my friends from the neighborhood saw that. She kicked the shit out of me. Black girls are scary. Anyway, that's Trump's kryptonite. I think scary black women, which, you know, I thought maybe Kamala would have done better. I mean, I wouldn't have voted for her, but you know what I mean? I thought like maybe she might have had his number because how does he respond to, I don't know, whatever. Anyway. Where are we at? I'm ranting now. That's what this is. It's a stream of consciousness. All right, back to the Epstein thing. So basically, Giselle, let's talk about Ghislaine. Ghislaine met with the Department of Justice again, you know, after they closed the book. After they were like, we're done here. We have exhausted every possible avenue of information about this, and we've come to the determination, the Department of Justice, that there ain't nothing to see here. And then I'm like, 3 days later, they're like, yeah, we're going to interview Ghislaine Maxwell. And I'm like, you didn't talk to her first? You closed the fucking book. You guys are terrible. So they talk to her. They send in, what's his name? Todd Blanche, the assistant attorney general, the deputy attorney, whatever the fuck, vice attorney general. I don't know what they call it. Whatever that guy is. He's the guy who gets coffee for Pam Biondi, but he's also, in another life, he was Trump's personal defense attorney on a number of things, and now he's in charge of the Department of Justice, and he's the guy that they send in to talk. You can't do that. That just looks bad, brother. Come on, bro. You can't do that. You can't send your personal attorney in when you are one of the people that we think is, acting sketchily. Don't send your... Anyway, Todd Blanche goes in there. Apparently he offered an immunity. All the libtards went nuts. Immunity? What are you giving her immunity? Oh, shut up. What did you expect? We want her to rat on things. We want her to talk about shit that we're going to then prosecute other people for. If we want to prosecute other people, we got to grant her immunity. We got to let her talk about it. She's already in jail for 20 years. What we don't want is a commutation or clemency or any bullshit like that. That would be real sketchy. Which is another whole thing that Trump is handling wrong. Hey, would you pardon her? Well, I can. Oh, fuck, dude. Just, what are you doing? That's not how you answer it. All right, so after meeting with the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche, on Friday, Ghislaine's attorneys filed a lawsuit on Monday. Not a lawsuit. They filed a whatever. Hey, Supreme Court, will you hear our case? Because you see, Ghislaine's attorneys are claiming that because of that. Remember when Epstein first got caught? This is going way back. When Epstein first got caught and they made some really lax bullshit deal with him down there in Florida. Well, part of the deal, and then I guess it was codified, for lack of a better word, with the Southern District of New York. Part of the deal was that none of Jeffrey Epstein's accomplices would be charged with any of the information that Jeffrey was going to give. He was going to name some names, but none of those people could be charged. And our government signed off on that bullshit for some unknown reason. All right, so now here we are all these years later. Ghislaine has been convicted. She's doing 20 years. And she is now working her way through different courts trying to get her conviction overturned because she claims it falls under the deal that Epstein made with the Southern District of New York and the Florida prosecutors. And I think she's fucking right. Anyway, 2 lower courts have heard her argument and they've said nope. So now it's the Supreme Court. Now, will the Supreme Court hear her? We don't know. Whatever. Anyway, we'll find out about that. That's interesting. That after meeting with the Department of Justice on Friday, the very 48 hours later, they're filing to go in front of the Supreme Court. All right. If you are a conspiracy theorist, you might be able to connect some dots there and go, oh, that doesn't look good. None of this looks good. All right. So then Ghislaine says yesterday, she goes, hey, oh, and by the way, I really want to talk to Congress. Now you might remember that there are a bunch of people in Congress, bipartisan group in Congress. Thank God, bipartisan on this. They want to call her. They want to ask her some questions, right? So what does she do? She says, all right, I am totally willing to come in front of Congress and answer all of your questions, but you guys got to grant me immunity for anything that I say that could then turn into another charge for me because I'm already doing 20 years. You want to know these names? I'll give you these names, but I ain't getting another 20 years because I gave you guys names so that you could shut up your fucking weirdos on your Twitter feed. Right? That's what she's saying. Give me immunity. She should get fucking immunity. Give her immunity. She's already in jail, you guys. It's not like she's going anywhere. Let's agree to not charge her for any of the names that she's about to lay on us. That seems like a pretty workable deal. Seems like something that we can all get behind. Guess what? We can't. It's a fucking Republican. What is this? Some Republican is like, nah, we're not going to grant her immunity. What's his name? I don't even know what his name. Let's see here. Here's the story. Ghislaine Maxwell's request for immunity in exchange for congressional testimony has been denied in what this newspaper is calling a stunning twist. Nothing is stunning anymore. I mean, I mean, a bipartisan group of these, smegma-based congressmen and Congress bitches that we've elected, these crazy people who are supposedly there working on our behalf to uphold the Constitution, these fucking people. So here's what they do. They go, we want to talk to her. And even the ones who don't want to talk to her because they don't want the names to come out that are going to be coming out, even those ones that don't want to talk to her are like, yeah, we want to talk to her. And then she says, okay, I'll talk, but you got to give me immunity. And then suddenly, it's like, well, no immunity. Lawmakers have denied Ghislaine Maxwell's request for congressional immunity in exchange for her testimony. Maxwell, the longtime partner of deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is currently serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking and has been in talks with the Trump administration and Congress about dishing on the disgraced financier and his personal relationships. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer announced last week that Maxwell is all set to testify before the panel on August 11th. This will take place at the Tallahassee facility where she is serving her prison sentence. Comer issued her a subpoena for her testimony one day after lawmakers voted to have her reveal more about her case and the crimes committed by Epstein. However, after Maxwell's lawyer, David Marcus, sent a document with conditions for her testimony, the committee has said that they will not accept them. I mean, you get the good press with your crazy fucking base by being James Comer and going, I subpoenaed her. We're going to bring her here. We're going to make her talk. And we're going to get them names for all you people so interested in who the pedophiles are. We're going to get them names for you. We're going to sit her down here. And she's like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'll tell you everything you want to know, but you can't prosecute me for any of this shit. Oh, that's a bridge too far, young lady. That's how they get out of it. So they get the initial first wave of press for being James Comer, truth advocate, looking to get her in front of Congress, setting a subpoena. James Comer is protecting the children. And then she's like, yeah, okay, I'll talk, but you're going to give me immunity? And he's like, no. So here now is what would happen. She's compelled to testify. She's been subpoenaed. So they're going to have her there at her little jail place, and she'll be testifying there. She's going to take the fifth. She's going to take the fifth. It's going to be all day. It's going to be, well, I could tell you about Steven Spielberg's involvement, but Comer over here won't let me fucking do it. So that's this nonsense. That's fucking nuts. All right, so now let's move over to Trump. What's Trump doing with all this? He's making it worse. So you remember a couple of days ago, we played the video of him, or I think it was audio we heard, of him explaining why he had the falling out with his good friend, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. I want to describe him from now on. The president's good friend, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. All right, so Epstein, where are we? Okay, so yeah, a couple days ago we heard Trump talking about how the relationship ended, and I flagged that he had originally said, or the narrative put out by the White House as to why Trump and Epstein stopped being friends was because he was a creep. The idea was that as soon as Trump found out that he was a pedophile, he was out the door and never to be seen again, and he's a creep, and we don't have that kind of stuff here. So that was the idea. And a couple of days ago, or maybe last week, somebody asked him, so what happened with you and Epstein? And then Trump starts freeballing on the story. He breaks from the narrative that it was just about, him being a creep and a pedophile. And now he said, well, he stole some workers from me. He took some people. And I said, that's why you stopped being friends with him? So you didn't stop being friends with him because he was, a pedophile. You stopped being friends with him because he poached your attorney or he poached your accountant, right? That's where I was going with it, because that's the way Trump made it seem. Well, he was asked again about it, and he gave a little more details, and the president of the United States made it worse. Now, here, let's watch this. We got some video. I think these are 3 different examples of him talking. Folks, this is why I say this is so weird. This guy is tripping over his dick on this question every single fucking time. And it's getting to the point where we're like, well, is it true? I don't know. How do I get rid of this? I'm sorry. I still got Barney up there. There we go. All right. So here we go. Where's that video? Oh, is that the video? Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's watch this. We'll see how he made it worse just the other day. Just yesterday, I think. No, I think this was on a flight back from wherever. All right, here.
All very much.
Hold on.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that.
All right, there you go. Virginia Joffrey. That's right. That's her. She was the one. Now, we know her story. She was working at Mar-a-Lago when Jeffrey Epstein got her, right? He was like, hey, you should come, massage me at my house and bring some friends. Hey, thinking about going out for cheerleading this year? I think you should. Bring your friends by. That's Virginia Joffrey. She is the most high-profile victim of all of the Epstein ones. She's the one that's been public. She's the one that moved to Australia. She's the one that started the victims advocacy group, and she has become one of these people who pop up on TV shows and stuff when they talk about victimization and all that. Oh, and we now go to Virginia Joffrey, and she has a lot to say. She has a lot of opinions on all of this stuff. She knows more than we have been let know from her side of things. Paid a big deal of money. And wouldn't it be great to have Virginia Joffrey right now, while all of this controversy is going on? Wouldn't it be great to have her on Tucker Carlson, or have her on, Jesse Waters, or have her on, Anderson, whatever? Wouldn't that be great to see her, somebody who was there, who could actually talk? Well, she's dead. Yeah, she mysteriously died just like her abuser. Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's fucking weird, man. That is weird. She suddenly died. All right, let's watch this now. So that's Virginia Joffrey. This is the ever-changing and weirdly making it worse storyline on Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
Well, unfortunately, you were silenced well before these people were brought to justice.
So thank you all very much.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again.
See, this was a story from a couple of days ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is different than you found out he was a pedophile. You're saying that the deal breaker for you, the Rubicon that he crossed, wasn't molesting children. It was that he took, help, somebody who worked for your organization, and he poached them, I believe is the term in corporate America. So I'm like, okay, this is a bit of a weird sort of, you're not making it better, dude. Here we go. Oh, great. Now it's not working. Oh, the difficulties of doing a live stream. Look at that shit. It's just fucking, it's going to do this forever. I've been here before. All right, we're going to have to set this whole fucking thing up again. I'm sorry. All right, let's go back to it. We'll start it from the beginning. Here you go. President Trump. Nope. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, his ever-changing story.
Trapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice. So thank you all very much.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place.
Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously.
All right, so now here's the more recent one. All right, this is from, one day later, him on the plane talking about the same question. Remember, he just said he did something. I told him, don't ever do that again, and he was gone. Again, not because he's molesting kids or was under investigation by the Palm Beach, Florida Police Department or anything like that. No, it was because he poached workers. Now, here he is. He's getting a little bit more detailed because maybe there were people like me out there who thought he was talking about corporate types. He stole my assistant VP of development, like that. All right, so they ask him to sort of be a little more specific about it. Here's our president making it fucking worse.
Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from him?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do? In the spa.
spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah, he stole her.
All right. All right. He's just making it worse. Just he stole her. He stole her. Why? First of all, this is so strange to me. And it should be strange to you. Can we take a beat, okay? And can we talk about what he just said there? You're telling me that Donald Trump, the head of the Trump organization, a guy who, from what everybody says, can't be bothered to read intelligence documents, can't be bothered to engage in any of the things that other presidents have done, waking up at 6 a.m. for a Central Intelligence briefing and all. He didn't do any of that shit. So you're trying to tell me that years before he was president, when he was the titular head of the Trump organization up in his ivory tower, he was concerned about the scheduling at the spa at one of his resorts? Why on earth would that bother him that one of the massage therapists from one of the many spas and one of the many resorts that he runs, why would it bother him that suddenly they had to hire a new girl? I don't know why it would bother him. You're forced to start thinking, well, maybe he liked her. Maybe there was some weird going on. Was Virginia Joffrey caught in like some pedophilic sex triangle between Jeffrey Epstein and President Trump? I don't believe it's true, but this fucking guy is making me think like that. Because he's so bad at this. So bad. And I think he's bad at it again, going back to what I said earlier. I think he's bad at it because he's never had boys. He's never had fucking people in his life to keep him in check. He's just always been Trump. I want a Big Mac. And boom, a Big Mac shows up, right? He's never had friends who bust his balls. And everybody, I imagine, in his orbit for at least the last 40 years have been, yes, sir, Mr. Trump. Yes, sir, Mr. Trump. He's got no boys. He doesn't know how to behave in public. He doesn't know how to say things with normal people where normal people believe him. He just thinks that everybody believes everything that he says all the time because in his world, when he tells his, vice presidents to do, they believe him. And he's like, yep. It's weird. It's like Elvis. Elvis didn't know how to behave in public. Elvis didn't know how to interact with regular people. He was kept behind these, gates his whole adult life or whatever. Anyway, it's the Elvis thing. It is. He's not. I don't believe that anything that he's been saying is proof that he's guilty, but it is obvious that he's doing it poorly because it really does look bad. He looks guilty as hell. All right, that's today's Epstein update. Now let's get into some fun stuff, all right? Well, I guess this isn't fun. But it is cool. We'll get into some cool stuff. Ozzy Osbourne was laid to rest today. His funeral. Was it yesterday? I don't know. Well, what time is it over there in England? Like, what are they? Are they ahead of us? Are they behind us? Like, I mean, I've been over there enough. It's like, what, 6-7 hours? Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Ozzy had his funeral. Everybody was there. It was a rock and roll thing. Check this out, though. I saw this from the funeral that I thought was really awesome. Let's watch this. This is some local Birmingham. Oh, it's Birmingham. All right. Some local. Is that his hometown? Is that where he's from? What is Birmingham, like the Detroit of the United Kingdom? What would Birmingham be like? Because London is New York, right? I don't think they have in LA. Paris. Paris is LA. That's not the United Kingdom, nerd. They're ahead of us, says CC of the Sports Bros. All right, they're ahead of us 6 hours. All right, here you go. Check this out. This was pretty cool. This was Ozzy's funeral parade. Okay, and this is some local band from his hometown, and they're leading the funeral procession with a brass and drum version of Iron Man. It sounds cool. So is that what Hearsts? Is that what dead people cars look like now? Is that or is that just a European dead people car? Do we still have normal ones? Because that looks kind of cool. It looks kind of modern. Or is that just specially made dead dude card for? Oh, there he is. Look at him. So Ozzy didn't get cremated, huh? Ozzy's gonna be buried? That'd be wild. I don't know. I want to be cremated. You want to be burned? I'm fucking dead, you idiot. What do you think? I feel pain? You think you're gonna feel pain after death? Well, wouldn't that be something fun to find out? Or maybe in that case, not fun. But it's still, I don't think you feel pain. Besides, let's be honest. If I die and you put me in a box and you dig a hole and you stick me in the hole in the ground, ain't nobody coming to visit me. There ain't nobody coming to visit me. Where are you going to bury me? You bury me in Chicago? You're going to bury me in Dallas? I got nobody in Chicago. I got family all spread out all over. There is no good place for me to be buried where anybody is going to come visit me. So here's my plan. I want to be cremated, and then I want my 16-year-old son to have to spend the rest of his life obsessing over, all right, where's dad's remains? We moved into a new house. Is it in the attic? I want that. I think that's kind of funny. I also want, like, if I know I'm going to die, and I probably will, because as I tell you people, I'm like 80% sure of how I'm going to die. I have a plan, and not anytime soon. So don't anybody worry about it. But the idea is this. I would really like to be on like in an urn, like on a mantle. And I would like to be there for like my grandkids throwing a party when my kid goes out of town. I do. I want people to be like, what's in there? And I want to be like, that's my grandpa. And I want to let him play with me. Let him play with me. I'm fucking ashes. Dude, we're snorting your grandpa. Cool. I'll let you know. Living grandpa in 2025 says that's all right. If you kids want to get nuts. Anyway, Ozzy's going to be, the worms are going to get him. Seriously, I am more freaked out at the idea of a slow sort of cannibalization. Well, I guess it wouldn't be cannibalization. A slow sort of deterioration due to like insect infestation. I don't want that, because that's what happens. You people, I don't want to be burned. Okay, you're just going to be slowly eaten to death by worms, ants, and other critters. Fine, if you're good with that. I want it over. I want to be cooked, and then I want my kid to be stuck carrying me around for the rest of his life. That's my plan. Ozzy didn't see it that way. What was that? What somebody threw? Somebody threw something, because somebody threw something in the next story we're going to do too. What they throw? All right, what is that? Here it comes. Oh, it looks like roses. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, somebody threw a rose. You know what it wasn't? It wasn't a green dildo hurled at Ozzy's hearse as it made its way through the streets of Birmingham, which I assume is his hometown. I don't know. Gotta be honest. I love Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz. I told you the story about Blizzard of Oz. I made my Catholic grandmother buy me that album in Ford City Mall back in like 1980 something. That was an awesome album, but that was pretty much it. Like I wasn't like, I didn't go and buy every Ozzy. As a matter of fact, I kind of turned more punk than Ozzy, Ozzy. But I love Blizzard of Oz. Love that album. So I wasn't like when Ozzy in the 80s was doing like horrific ballads with the likes of Lita Ford and other bullshit flavors of the month. I wasn't into that shit. I was like, yeah, nope, that ain't the Ozzy. Ozzy was pretty much done for me at that point. And then the TV show came on. And I was like, Ozzy's back. Look at Ozzy. He's fucking brain dead and hysterical. Because that was the appeal. Let's not sugarcoat it. The whole appeal of watching the Osbournes in the early days was we couldn't believe Ozzy was still alive. And then when we saw the way he was, we're like, yeah, that tracks. The dude can't form a sentence. We don't know what he's saying. But he was great. And over the course of a number of seasons, we all kind of went, fucking Ozzy's cool again. Look at Ozzy. So that's where I am with him. I'm not, I'm not going to. He was cool. He was cool. Good life. We should all live that life. Imagine we all get to live the life of Ozzy Osbourne. No. God, we would be insufferable. Imagine if everybody you're with at Walmart is like a legendary rock star. Everybody. We're all walking around with that energy. No, thank you. That'd be a bad world. All right, let's talk about the WNBA because I watched some WNBA last night. It started with clips, and then I went to YouTube, and I started watching a whole bunch of stuff. So somebody threw a dildo on the court last night at a WNBA game. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to watch the video. We're going to watch it play out. We're going to break it down. We're going to go Zapruder on this shit. We're going to see where it comes from. Came from the cheap seats, man. When they started like gathering to find, let's throw somebody out. I'm like, you're going to have to go all the way up because that came from the rafters. It was a game between, I don't even know. This is the problem with WNBA. Do you know that we have a WNBA team here in Dallas and I just found out about it like a couple of months ago? Because of some chick, right? Paige something. She's like famous. She's like a famous chick basketball player and she plays here in Dallas and we should be very proud of that. She's another local athletic celebrity. But I don't even know the name of the fucking team. I know Chicago because of Angel Reese and because they're the Sky and they've been around for a while, but I've never really watched a game. I do love Angel Reese, though. I think she's hot. Yeah, you probably hate that. You're like, what is this middle-aged white man streaming saying that he thinks Angel Reese is hot? He should be programmed to hate her because she's not Caitlyn. What's her name? Caitlyn with the ugly girl. It's two people. Two people were supposed to choose one. And I think they were like, if you're white, choose the white one. No, I'm choosing the hot one. All right? I'm going with Angel Reese. She's hot. Can you imagine having sex with Angel Reese? Imagine it's like Freddy Krueger. Have you ever seen her nails? They'll just slice you to pieces. See, that's the difference. I can imagine having sex with Angel Reese. I can't imagine having sex with Caitlin Clark. No, thank you. But hey, whatever. I don't watch WNBA. I'm just here for the circuses. I'm just here for the flying dildos and the black girl versus white girl antics. That's what's drawn me so far. All right. So let's watch this video. This came from last night's, I'm going to say Golden State in Atlanta. I don't know. I have no idea. Where is it? Dildo on the court. There you go. All right, let's watch this. They did this every night. Maybe we'd tune in, right? Maybe we'd have some fun here. All right, let's go. Here, watch it. All right, first of all, before we start, no idea which team is with. All right, so GSV, Golden State. What does the V stand for? The Vaginas? The Golden State Vaginas? Versus the Atlanta Hens. We're going to call them the Atlanta Hens. All right, so this is the Golden State Vaginas taking on the Atlanta Hens. First of all, crowd. Kudos, right? I used to always joke that, there ain't no crowds. There ain't nobody. Some people showing up. Now, I don't know where this game is being held. Is this an NBA arena or is this like some junior college arena that just from this angle looks really cool? I'll tell you what else looks really cool. The floor. That floor looks badass. They're doing some badass things. All right, let's watch a couple of seconds of bad basketball and then let's watch the dildo fall.
Hayes gets.
How about that? You know what? I'm just going to let it play before I start critiquing the actual basketball we're forced to watch.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell.
There it comes.
Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will
Look at
continue
this.
play
Nice shot.
as that goes
Nice
off
shot,
the
sugar
fingertips
tits.
of the Valkyries.
Seriously, did you just watch this? This is just like, whatever. I've just been ruined. I've been ruined by exceptional apex level basketball. I know what the Jordan Bulls looked like in sixth gear. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not going to ever be excited watching this. Again, I'll play the whole thing. I'll shut up. Here we go.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries.
And you can see the object, the block right there, and the object comes, that green thing bounces, and it goes to the sideline. We're not exactly where
Wait a second. This team is called the Valkyries, not the Vaginas? All right, let's work on the Valkyries. The Golden State Valkyries? Did these people know what the Valkyries were? That doesn't seem like a very good name. Well, I mean, you've got the whole Wagner, Hitler tie in there, but that, above and beyond that, the Valkyries, weren't they like Aryan supremacist female gods that rode as the first wave of invasion? I don't know that the Valkyries are a good image for a WNBA team, but anyway, here we go. They're not the Vaginas. That's what we've learned. We've learned that they're not called the Golden State Vaginas.
not sure where it came from.
No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys.
There's the object. Oh, all right. Here, let's. I love the reaction of the play-by-play people who, once they realize what the object is. So let's watch that again. Oh, and by the way, this girl here.
I'm not sure where it came from.
All right, this girl right here, wearing the hoodie and the sweatpants. She's the owner of the team. This is the owner of, I don't know what team, the Atlanta team or whatever, but that's the team owner talking with the police there about the dildo that has been chucked on the floor.
No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
She's speechless. Oh my God. And nobody's picked the object off the floor yet. Oh my God. When she sees it. All right, one more time.
Any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
Look at this dude. This dude finds it hysterical. This guy is laughing. He's smiling.
Okay.
Look at him. He's like,
Inappropriate. Get him out of here, whoever it is.
inappropriate. Get him out of here. All right, let's watch it now. Let's break this shit down. All right, first of all, block shot, whatever.
It's blocked by Maya Caldwell.
All right, do you see it? Here it is. All right, here it is. See this little green thing right here? It's about to skip across the floor. Boop, boop. See, now it's here. Boop, boop. There it goes. All right, let's watch it from its first appearance.
From the crowd.
Because they're like, all right, here we go. It's just after the horrid air ball.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell.
There it comes. All right. Here it is right here. Now I'm going to go back again. We're going to see. It's going to come from here. It's coming straight down onto the floor. These are the cheap seats, guys. All right, watch again. Watch in that area. Here we go.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell.
There it is.
Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries.
And you can see the object, the block right there, and the object comes, that green thing bounces, and it goes to the sideline. We're not exactly we're not sure where it came from.
I am.
No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
One man here. He is loving it. All right, there you go. So I watched the WNBA last night simply because, look, the attraction was a flying dildo. And guess what I discovered? Very cool stadium situation, very cool floors, bigger crowd than expected, and subpar basketball as I expected. So, but I am not, don't get it twisted, okay? I am not one of these idiots out here, who complains about the WNBA and thinks that it shouldn't exist. And then, it's just stupid that it's even a thing. I can't believe I live in a world where shut up. If they want to play basketball, let them play basketball. If some rich guy, wants to fund it because he already owns the NBA team or whatever, who cares? Why do you care? If there's some little girl that wants to join, 400 of her friends at a basketball game, okay, that's unfair because we saw they sold more tickets than 400. But if there's some kid out there's somebody that is interested in that and they are willing to buy a fucking ticket, why do you care that it exists? I never understood that. It is not great basketball. I like men jumping super high, slam dunking, throwing elbows in the lane. It's a faster, more physical. It's an apex form of the game. I've seen the game played at the highest level. So just because I believe, and again, let's reiterate, I am totally not a misogynist. Oh, you just called them the vaginas. Yeah. That doesn't make me a misogynist. It makes me somebody who engages in shock humor, but it doesn't mean I'm a fucking misogynist, okay? I believe that women should have equal opportunity in everything that they want to do. But what I don't believe is that I have to sit here and pretend like I'm watching something that I'm interested in. I'm not. The only way that I am interested in watching WNBA basketball is if I can make fun of it. And if you don't like me making fun of it, you're a pussy. Go away. Go away. I'm tired of you people. You shouldn't be punching down. Punching down? These women are all 7 feet tall. And also, might I add, I couldn't think of a less useful thing someone could have thrown onto the court at a WNBA game than a dildo. None of those girls are interested in that. Not even you, Caitlin. Not even you. I know you're walking that tightrope, Caitlin. She's got a boyfriend now. God, I see. Okay. All right, there you go. So the dildo on the court thing, that happened. All right, what else do we have? What else do we want to get into? All right, so wait, let me just Google search a quicker something here. I'm so hot. Byron's got dead people in his house? Byron's got that. I mean, I always assumed that, there were some dead bodies associated with Byron. Byron says that he's got, we were talking about how I want to be cremated. Byron says, I have both of my parents and some dogs all in a drawer in my dining room. All right. A drawer in your dining room. That doesn't sound, I mean, is it like an important drawer? Or does it have like Chinese food menus and rubber bands? And you open it up and you're like, what the fuck is in here? Oh, there's Dad. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, here'd be fun. Just mix it all into one big bag with the dogs, with your mom, with your dad. Just mix all the ashes together. Again, nobody fucking cares because they're dead. That's sacrilege. Well, only if you believe that mumbo jumbo. If you don't believe the mumbo jumbo, it ain't sacrilege. And I don't believe it. So, let's see what else. He said Byron would like it known that it's a nice hutch. It was nice and it's classy, just like Mom would have wanted. All right. Let me Google search something really quick because I don't have the actual latest on this story. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. All right, what's the latest on this clown? This is such a weird story. All right. All right, so I want to talk about Christian Wilkins, who's a hell of a defensive lineman there for used to be for the Oakland Raiders. holy shit, the Vegas Raiders, which, by the way, I don't believe the Las Vegas Raiders will ever have a winning team, ever. I don't think I guess the hockey team did good, but they're Canadians. That's different. All right, here's why the Las Vegas Raiders will never win anything significant. They might be all right. They might challenge for division titles and all of that, but here's why they're not going to win anything. You can't play your games in Vegas and expect not to be distracted. Now, I have, over the course of my many years, I have known socially a number of NFL football players, and I know what the Saturday or the weekend before a home game is like for them. They've got cousins coming into town every weekend of every game. Somebody on your team has a buddy from back home coming in for the weekend. Okay. So, and it's a distraction. It's a distraction. You go out to dinner with them on Saturday, but you got to leave early because you got to check back into the hotel and all of that. That shit gets supercharged when it's Vegas. These players, you want to talk about the distraction of just being in Vegas? That's fine. But what about the distraction of family and friends who are now going to be showing up en masse because it's an excuse to go to Vegas? Hey, man, let's all go to Vegas so we can hang out with my cousin who plays for the Raiders. This team is never going to win a thing. Their players are going to be just consistently hungover and tired. And, oh, yeah, I was out partying on a Tuesday night. See Henry Rugg as just, example A. Henry Rugg, fucking football player. You're out at like 3:00 in the morning on a Tuesday, racing your car 1,000,000 miles an hour, killing a lady and her dog. Vegas, baby. All right. Anyway, they got some other issues too going on in Vegas. Which, hold on. Didn't Vegas have the only gay player in the league? Right? Remember, and I'm not talking about Michael Sam. Remember, Michael Sam was the first gay player drafted. And didn't Jerry draft him or something? I don't know how that all worked out. Michael Sam wasn't a great representative of gay athleticism. Michael Sam wasn't, you need like Patrick Mahomes to be like, hey, I'm gay, right? That's if you really want to attain some sort of breakthrough. Michael Sam wasn't it. And then there was a dude, right? A defensive end. I can't remember his name, which is good. That's progress. That I didn't think it was interesting that he was gay, that I committed his name to memory. Well, anyway, the Raiders had a gay dude who was on their defensive line. It's not Max Crosby. The other guy. I think he retired. Anyway, point is this. Christian Wilkins was cut from the Raiders because he kissed another player. And I don't think it's a gay thing, but let's get into this story. I'm trying to figure out. All right, so Christian Wilkins was causing some problems anyway. Apparently, he was in the middle of like some sort of contract issue where he wanted more money or something like that. He was becoming a bit of a problem. And at some point, he kissed on the forehead one of his teammates. Kissed him on the forehead in the locker room. Something like that. That teammate, that player was so offended by Christian Wilkins kissing him on the forehead that he ran to HR. The fucking NFL is now doing HR bullshit. He ran to HR and said, I just don't know that I can perform on Sundays because he kissed me on my forehead, right? So now HR, with the Las Vegas Raiders, they got to deal with this nonsense, and they ended up cutting him. They cut him. He sexually assaulted another player. Some bullshit like that was probably the way it was, discussed in the room. All right, so here's the latest on this. Christian Wilkins, former Raiders teammate, has worrying comment after his release. Please get help. Raiders veteran Adam Butler. Never heard of you. Who's Adam Butler? I know Malcolm Butler. Who are you, Adam Butler? Raiders veteran Adam Butler had some thoughtful words for Christian Wilkins after his recent release. Butler, who plays defensive tackle alongside Wilkins, went into an unexpected rant about the importance of mental health when asked about his former teammate while speaking to reporters on Tuesday. Here's what Butler had to say. He said, we've pretty much just kind of moved on from that situation. I really don't want to comment further on it, but I will say whatever you're going through as a person, an athlete, non-athlete, whoever, whatever your struggle is. If you got something going on in life, talk to somebody. Get some therapy. Whatever your deal is, it's your deal. Let me just tell you, as somebody who advocates for, people fucking learning about why you're doing the things you're doing. I'm a big fan of that shit. There is a playbook that you can, if you learn, you can follow this playbook and you won't do stupid shit anymore. Right? You won't think, I can make it home. I'm not that drunk. Why did you make that choice? Why do you continually make bad choices? Well, there is a playbook. That seems to be what Adam Butler is saying here. He goes on to say, somebody out there in this world full of billions of people is willing to listen to you. They're willing to listen. They're willing to hear you out and help you work through whatever you need to work through. Don't make any hasty decisions. Please get help. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That is nice. Although it depends. Is he ready to hear that? Because a lot of people aren't ready to hear that. Like his ego, and I'm guessing it is because he's an NFL player, his ego might hear these words, these thoughtful and loving words, and I think very insightful words from his teammate. He may hear that and receive it as, fuck you. What do you mean? You think I'm, you got to be willing to hear it. You got to say, man, you know what, that I would like to be able to sleep better at night without my mind racing. I would like to be able to talk to somebody about why I want to fucking kill every other person I see, right? This is what therapy's about. Some of it's gay, some of it's stupid, some of it's a big waste of money, but there is a lot. If you find something that works for you and helps you, man, geez, why wouldn't you do it? The team, the Raiders, the team and Wilkins were reportedly at odds over how he was treating the rehab for his foot injury that cost him all but 5 games. Oh, is that what it was? All right, so they were, this happens a lot with veterans. We're seeing this, suddenly a veteran shows up to camp, and he's limping, and he's not going to be available for 3 weeks. Veterans get out of, doing the hard 100-degree training camp stuff. And it sounds like this guy who got injured last year and missed a significant portion of time was probably expected to be cleared for the start of training camp, but as often happens, he's like, I ain't ready to go yet. We're in Vegas, and it's 1,000,000 degrees out. Although, wait a second. They ain't practicing outside in Vegas. They're in some, air conditioning. Whatever. He doesn't want to do up-downs. He doesn't want to do ladders or run sprints, whatever. The team and Wilkins were reportedly at odds over how he was treating the rehab for a foot injury that cost him all but 5 games last season. They also disagreed over whether to have surgery on the foot or not. The NFL Players Association filed a grievance on Wilkins' behalf on Thursday over the decision to release him. On Monday, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the foot injury wasn't the only reason the team decided to move on from Wilkins. Wilkins was allegedly involved in an incident in which he tried to kiss another teammate. This, according to multiple reports. This franchise has a commitment to excellence on and off the field, the Raiders said in a statement after Wilkins' release. With no clear path or future or plan for future return to play from Christian, this transaction is necessary for the entire organization to move forward and prepare for the new season. All right, so the Raiders officially aren't saying that they got rid of him because he kissed another teammate and that teammate went to HR. The Raiders are going with the whole, he's not going to be back in time. He's, his rehab isn't going well. So we're going to cut this guy who is arguably one of the top defensive tackles in football. They're paying him $80 million. They released him with what was the guarantee? He had some insane guarantee. He just recently, within the last year, signed a new massive deal with the Raiders, and they're going to eat a whole bunch of money because he kissed a teammate on the forehead. And by the way, all of the descriptions, and we don't have any real details, but descriptions of it, they all contains words like jokingly or playfully kissed the teammate on the forehead. Nobody in any of these stories that I've read on this is suggesting that he's gay and he's trying to fuck his teammate and he made a move and the move wasn't right. That's not what it was. It was apparently he was a problem in many ways in the locker room. I mean, that's really the thing that this tells you, right? He kisses another teammate in the locker room on the forehead. This teammate goes to HR. He's gone forever. This tells me this dude had no hand in that locker room, that locker room did not like him. Because locker rooms usually handle these kinds of things without making them these big spectacles and then having NFL's Ian Rappaport and Shefty, tweeting about how, hey, he's kissing other players in the locker room. All right. there you go. That's the story. The reason I wanted to Google this and see what the absolute latest is, I want to see if anybody picks him up. But apparently they're trying to paint him now publicly as, somebody that needs help. So, okay, I don't know, whatever. A lot of football players are nuts. A lot of them are nuts. You see that after they stop playing, and then it's like start acting crazy. Who was the guy? Barrett Robbins. Oh my God. You guys remember Barrett Robbins? Now, Barrett Robbins had bipolar disorder. Barrett Robbins was the center for the Raiders. Oh my God. Look at this. Barrett Robbins was the center for the Raiders in about 15 years ago, 16, whenever the last time the Raiders were in the Super Bowl. I think Gruden was there maybe. I don't know. The Raiders were in the Super Bowl, and their starting center, Barrett Robbins, went missing the Saturday night before the game. Imagine you show up, you're the Super Bowl, you got to run with your backup center because your guy, your big star center, he's missing. Nobody knows where he is. Well, they found him in Mexico. Like a couple of days later, he just went to Mexico. Turns out he had a bipolar sort of breakdown before the Super Bowl and ended up in Mexico. So we've had experiences, in the NFL where people have mental breakdowns and do things that get them released. Barrett Robbins, by the way, would have a really terrible incident a year or so later in Miami where he was shot by Miami police. He's having another bipolar incident. Alonzo Spellman. I don't know if you guys remember Alonzo Spellman. This is this guy who played for both the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. Alonzo Spellman was another one of these guys, NFL player, high profile. He was insane. Alonzo Spellman did this thing when he was with the Bears. He's a first-round draft pick. He was an Adonis, if you remember what Alonzo Spellman looked like. I mean, a physical specimen of a dude. Alonzo Spellman barricaded himself in a house in Chicago when he was a Bear. And the SWAT team and all that had to come out, and they had to send Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary got sent in to negotiate to get Alonzo Spellman out. Singletary wasn't even on the team anymore. Singletary had been retired for years, but here comes Samurai Mike. He's going to talk, and he got him out. And Alonzo Spellman went to a hospital where he was, being evaluated and all of that. And then 2 days later, there was another police manhunt because Alonzo Spellman checked himself out of the hospital. Now, he was there against his will, so he couldn't check himself out. But if you remember Alonzo Spellman, nobody was stopping him. When Alonzo's like, yeah, I'm going home now. And he starts pulling the IVs on. He's like, I'm going home now. They're like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. And they're like, okay, I guess you are. You're 6'7" and you're 300 pounds. You go right ahead, Mr. Alonzo Spellman. So he walked out of the hospital wearing his gown, his assless gown, and he walked through the parking lot and began walking down the highway. Alonzo Spellman and the police were behind him, and they had their lights going, and it stopped traffic, and they're like, Alonzo, put your hands behind your back, and he's like, fuck yeah. It was crazy. Those are the good old days of crazy NFL behavior. Anyway, Christian Wilkins, they're saying that he might have a little bit of an issue. I don't know that there's any other stories coming out of that locker room, but the most interesting one is that he got an HR complaint filed on him last week for trying to kiss one of his teammates, and now he's gone, and the Raiders are eating a whole lot of money, so they must think that he is over the moon as far as, being able to get his shit together. All right, let's go. We'll end up today's show. I know, a little bit earlier. I'm sorry. I apologize. And you're not getting the full 2 hours. It's so hot. And once again, tomorrow night, Shock House Radio, 6 o'clock. Shock House Dallas. Me, CC, and Keith tomorrow night. We usually record on Wednesday. It's just I got somewhere else I got to go. All right, my 16-year-old son is now beginning to drive. And he's a good, responsible dude. Let me show you this video. He's very responsible. He's really good, man. He's, as a matter of fact, I would deny it if he confronts me on this. But the other day we were out at the lake, and something needed to be done with one of the jet skis. Something that would require a responsible individual to do this. It concerned the transport of precious cargo, and Captain E. He turns to me because my son, my 16-year-old, was in charge of the jet ski at this point. And he said, can your kid do this? And I turned to him and I said, you know what? I don't think any other kid could, but my kid could. Look at me, how proud I am. And then he laughed and he said, what do you mean? And I go, no, seriously though. My kid, for some reason, I don't know where he got these genes, he's way more responsible than I was. Like, if you need him to do this, he will do it. He will do the job. He will come back. And, So anyway, my kid is driving. And I don't have these crazy fears about my kid being an asshole because of the way I've seen him, with the jet skis and driving the boat and all that, the jet skis and all that stuff. So when I show you what's about to happen here with this teenager, and we got sound too. Oh, we got sound. It's funny. Understand that I don't really think this is a fear for my kid because I don't believe my kid would do something like this, but holy shit, kids being stupid. Here you go. So what's happening here is, a young man has taken his father's car and he is trying to impress his girlfriend. How do I know this? Because I read the comments. That's right. So anyway, here we go. A young man, and I don't know, he looks like he's been driving. He doesn't look like he's 16. He looks like maybe he's 18, 19 or something, but whatever. He's still a young man who has taken his dad's car and he is trying to impress his girlfriend. Let's watch how this plays out. No! All right, he's very upset, and he was only doing that because, he's with his girlfriend. So let's see his girlfriend. Let's see her get out. Damn it!
It's okay. Give me your phone. Fuck, give me your phone. Give me your phone.
I'm dead. No, my life's over, Sam. My life's over. Sam, my life's over. Sam, it's over.
I mean, look, if it was just your car, your life ain't over. You're like, fuck, my insurance is going up, but this is dad's car. So he's like, my life is over. My life is over. Let's watch this again. And the girlfriend taking charge. So give me your phone. Give me your phone. Let's watch this again. Here we go. Listen to this car, though. What kind of car is this, chat room? This engine, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the microphones. This engine sounds big. This sounds like a car that, can haul ass. No. Hey, look, you little bitch. I was 16 and I drove a car through a house. That's right. I drove a car through a house. Fucking toughen up, you little pussy. Everybody's fine. You fucked up your dad's car. You're in big trouble. But stop acting like it's the end of the world.
No! Fuck! Damn it!
It's okay. Give me your phone. Fuck, give me your phone. Give me your phone.
I'm dead. No, my life's over, Sam. My life's over. Sam, my life's over. Sam, it's over.
Password.
Sam, it's over.
Password.
Sam, no, everything.
What does she need his password for? She's trying to use I don't know what's going on. Why is she demanding his phone and asking for his password? I don't know.
Everything's over.
No, I know it's okay. Stop it.
Sam, everything's over.
Stop it.
Sam, it's over.
Call Eduardo.
Sam, it's over.
Call Eduardo.
No.
Call Eduardo. Eduardo's dad is a TV repairman. He's got a bitchin' set of tools.
My career's over. No, I can't go to school. How am I going to get to work? How am I going to go to school? Over. It's over.
Eduardo, we crashed.
It's over.
We crashed.
It's over.
Yeah, we're here at Tire Plus in front of the
Tire Plus? What were they in front of like a tire shop?
It's over, bro.
It's really bad.
It's over, bro.
He's crying now. But man, when he was here, let's go back to where he was. When he was here, when he was here, he's revving that engine. Woo! He's going to get laid. He's going to impress this girl. Sam, I believe is her name, Sam. He's going to impress Sam. Oh, she's going to know that she's with the cock and the walk. Say it, brother. Yeah. This is when he kind of realized, what kind of car is this? I can't tell. Is this like looks like a Toyota or a Nissan or something? It's got a big engine. You hearing that? I mean, is that an Infinity? That might be an Infinity. I think is that a G35? These lights look like an older G35. Is this that looks like an old. No, now it doesn't look like a G. You know what? I think that's a G35, or maybe a G37. I think that's an Infinity with a nice engine in it. No. Oh, yes. Sorry. The truth hurts. Hey, look, we've all been there. We've all been teenage boys who did stupid shit. Well, I mean, maybe not April or, Leslie or any of you, but, some of us have been stupid teenage boys. Boy, I'll tell you a story now. Before I was driving, I took my mom's car, not far. I wasn't really bad with that stuff. Like, I didn't do stuff. Like I wasn't like, let's go load up the car. No, it was just me alone. It was late at night, and I was staying up late, and I'm like, let's go drive around the neighborhood, right? I thought, and by the way, neighborhood too, right? Not like big streets or anything. And I was probably 15. But here's the thing. It was snowing. It had snowed, and I never drove in the snow yet. I was just like, it's snowing. It's like 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday. And I'm coming down this street that is behind my house where I live. And this street has a turn. And the turn keeps you out of a lake. Okay, there was a lake down there, and it's a drop too. The lake is down, and then there's some tennis courts. And then next to that, there's a swimming pool, the community swimming pool. So I've got to make this turn and go right alongside the tennis courts and all that. But then there's a lake there. So it's snowing, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going slow. I'm not going fast anyway, but it's still all icy, right? And I'm in like a 1980 Grand Prix. I don't know what I'm driving. So I come down, and the car starts to slide, and I'm like, oh, shit, I'm sliding off the road. And I know that there's like a lake down there, and I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to slide into the lake. I didn't slide into the lake, but I did slide off the road. Like I slid off the road, and I was spinning my wheels, and I'm only like 15, right? And it's snowing. Along comes a cop. Oh, Jesus. I'm like, by the way, I should also point out, I'm 50 yards from my house. I'm like, I can see the back door of my house from where I am. I was just going around the block. That's all, just practicing. And it was snowing. And so now I'm off the road, and I'm sort of like stuck in the snowbanks. And this cop comes, and I don't have a driver's license. I don't know. I'm in trouble. I'm like, my mom is sleeping right there in that window. You're going to wake her up, and I'm going to be in trouble. Cop walks up. He's like, hey, you slid off the road. I'm like, yeah, I did, officer. Right. And I tried to say anything. Here, let me give you a hand. And the cop just pushed me out. He just pushed me out. He didn't ask for a driver's license. He didn't ask for anything. I mean, I guess I looked like I was, old enough to be driving. I was a teenager. So, but man, that was like the worst. I drove somebody else's car through a house. That's the worst. But as far as me getting in trouble, like taking my mom's car or something like that, I wouldn't have done that. Anyway, all right. We all been through these things. Barney says his daughter got her license last week. Hey, Barney, congratulations, man. Oh, man. You letting her run around? Does she have access to a car? My kid's got a Jeep. My kid's got a Jeep. He's got a hand-me-down Jeep Liberty that when he gets his license, that'll be his car. I had promised him the car that I have now. I was like, yeah, I'll probably be ready for a car by the time you start driving. Man, those years pass by quick because I am not ready for a new car. And he is ready to drive. But luckily, his awesome mom got a new car, and she's like, oh, just give him this old one. And I'm like, yes. So now he's got a Jeep Liberty. He's not driving yet, though. I don't know if he's going to drive a lot. He's been 16 for months. He doesn't have his license. He's got his permit. He went through the course and all that stuff. He can walk in and get his license any time that he wants. He's not all that driven to do that. He's like, yeah, no big deal, no hurry. And I'm like, holy shit, your generation is different than my generation. I mean, I remember being 12 or 13 years old and actually counting how many days until I could get my driver's license. It was like 975 days. Kids today aren't like that. Kids today, they don't. And it's, here's what it has to do with, I believe. And it's not that these kids today suck because they're different than us. No, their environment is different, right? We had to go everywhere. Kids today don't have to go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. They got everything they need in their rooms, right? Go hang out with your friends. I am. What do you mean? And then you look at the screens. And their friends are on all their screens all the time. Oh, yeah, there's Josh. There's Bill. There's Natalie. It's like they're all, hi. It's like, fuck. Okay, so you don't have to go anywhere. So you don't have to go drive over to your friend's house and hang out in their basement for, a Friday night playing poker or whatever. No, they don't go anywhere. And then the other thing is with this generation is rideshare. Like, one of the terrific things that I think, kids going to high school parties, he's worried about, oh, Jesus, 17-year-old, he's going to impress a girl trying to chug a beer, and then he's going to get in a car, he's going to kill everybody. You worry about that. That's not a thing. Well, two things aren't a thing. That's not really a concern anymore because you just get your kid an Uber account and you're like, oh, you're going out tonight. It's Saturday night. You're not getting in any fucking cars. Anywhere you need to go, here's the Uber app. It's charged to my account. I'd be willing to pay. My friend, my friend Tony and his wife, Lisa, she's, they have an amount for their daughter. Their daughter can only use X amount of dollars per week for Uber. And if they overrun it, then they're shit out of luck. But anyway. So I think that's why maybe kids today don't have this urgency to get their driver's license. There is no real need to go anywhere to the extent that it was when we were kids. When we were kids, we had to go everywhere. The mall, the record store, hang out at somebody's house. They don't do that anymore. And then the other thing is when they do actually need to get somewhere, Uber or Lyft, right? Parents used to complain, I got to drive my kid everywhere. No, you don't. Parents don't drive their kids anywhere anymore. Except in my neighborhood, my stupid rich person neighborhood, where every kid somehow gets chauffeured to school by mumsy and dadsy. There's always a dog in the back seat. Anyway, it's a different world. But it's not because they're bad, okay? It's not just because things are different now with younger generations. It's not because they're less than or worse than or anything like that. It's just because their environment has changed. They don't need to do the things we used to do. All right, that's it. I'm done. We are so out of time, although not really. What did I give you, an hour and a half today? I love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do more. We'll do, tomorrow's going to be, I think, a later show. Tomorrow, just a heads up. I think tomorrow's going to be like a 3 to 5 show. It's going to be a 3 o'clock start. I got a thing at noon, and I don't think I'm going to be back here. We'll see. Anything else I need to mention? I don't think so. I mean, you can tip the show and all that stuff, but I'm trying not to push that. For, when we need to do that, we'll do that. But just, let's all just fucking do this. All right, bye, everybody. Love you. Bye.